What's up, adventurers? B2, and I'm going to take on a really fun game today called OWO or OWO. Not really a fun game at the beginning for me, but I loved it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo my basic guide a year later, or however long it's been, and then I'm going to talk about the meta attack team on here, right? So if you want to go right to that, then just go forward in the video to that piece, but I'm going to tackle the basic guide for everybody. The first command is going to be this zoo command, because this is one of those games where you're gathering pets and then you're doing battle with them, right? So the first thing to really look at, though, is your inventory. So you're going to come in here and you're going to be able to pull up what you have on your inventory. Now, in order to accumulate things, you're going to be able to go on quest, which I've finished mine for the day. It's going to tell you things like use things on people, curse people, pray for people, do battles. Like all these different quests will start to pop up. It's a way to accumulate either weapons crates or loot boxes, or just in general to be able to accumulate stuff. You want that, right? So as you're doing this, you're going to type OWO hunt, and you can type it all in one line. I don't know why I always space. And you can see I start collecting animals on here, right? So you'll notice that these in the inventory match up top. So you'll actually use those by doing OWO, use, and then the number of the item up top. Don't try to use the weapon numbers. Those won't do anything for you. The backgrounds and everything we'll talk about in a different video as well. But I wanted to start showing you the commands to start accumulating stuff. Once you've actually accumulated some pets, and you want to take them into battle, it's OWO battle. It's going to set a team for you, right? And so what you're seeing on my team up here is a classic meta attack team right now for OWO. I'm going to go into that in a lot more detail, but I just wanted to show you the preview of the battle screen and kind of start getting used to all that, right? So continuing on with like the commands, once you actually have some pets, you can hover on top of them. It's going to tell you what they are, right? So now you can use what's called the OWO Dex, and let's do the B, right? So I'm going to do OWO Dex B, and then it's going to actually beep, 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 and then tell you what's going on with the B, right? It'll have some cheesy little saying at the top here, but basically what you're looking at on here now is the start of being able to find what is best. Now you're going to want to get familiar with these guys down here, and then you know what each one of these things do. It matters when you do your weapons. I'm going to show you how to accumulate the weapons and then how to assign them, right? So the first one is H for HP. It's pretty similarly, when your HP goes to 0, you die, right? So your animal in here is important for you if you have some sort of HP on there. If not, they don't progress and gain more HP, right? If that's a low stat, they gain lower or none if it's a 0, right? So you'll notice that when you count all these points up, that's kind of the way to know how strong the animal is. The other way is on the rank here. It's Cure M. So common, uncommon, mythic, rare. So common, uncommon, rare, epic, and mythic. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones on there. And so I'm going to do the zoo command one more time and show you. So right here, Curum, and then legendary, gem, bot, fabled, and then special, right? So the specials are normally around the holidays, and every holiday there's typically a good one. Some have been garbage, but it's just roll the dice. So like this one is the tank that I use. It was from the 2020 Halloween. And then this one is the healer I use. It was the Christmas special from this year, right? So the longer you play the game, the more you'll accumulate. You'll notice that I am free to play. I don't have any of the Patreon ranks on there. So like you'll see ones that have like the little red dot on them, and it'll be somewhere in here. There'll be about 30 of them in the Patreon rank. I don't do that. It's free to play for me. I haven't accumulated any of those. So then your total zoo points get accumulated based on what you've unlocked in here, and they're worth different stuff. So for instance, if I do my hunt and gather more pets and then do my battle, you'll see again my team is starting to battle. Now you'll look on here and these things will match up, right? So if I do the OWO Dex on the B again, I want to show you some more of what the stats mean, because those are going to be incredibly important for you. So HP is the first. The next one is the physical attack. So the B is actually not a bad attacker for a common, right? So like as you begin to become more familiar. And then this one is PR. It's physical resistance, right? So it's how well it does against physical attacks. The W here is going to be for kind of like mana, like it's what you would use to attack with, right? So it's going to tell you based on your weapon, and we're going to talk a little bit about weapons after this. Ponky just woke up. This one right here is your mag. It's going to be your attack power when using a mana-based weapon, not a physical attack. You know, but I'll go into that. And then, of course, your magic resistance, right? All the animals are different, so if I did Hallow, I hope this works. I didn't try this before, but let's do OWO. It's no OW Dex Skull. Let's see. Yeah, so this one pulls up, so you'll notice that this one has a really high HP, right? So on a really high HP, you're going to want to have some sort of a shield on it to then, you know, reduce the physical resistance because they're not ranked high on here. But it does have a high WP, which means you'll be able to taunt this particular animal if you have the right weapon. And I'll show you what all that means, right? So the next command to gather animals or to automatically raise the experience is your auto hunt. A very important one in here because this you can also upgrade the stats that are on here, right? So you can auto hunt with the amount of currency, and it will tell you the max auto hunt. You would need to do 13,000 currency on there to auto hunt for the time, and then you can see that my efficiency is that I'll collect 184 animals every hour, and then it's going to be the duration for 11.8 hours. I've only been playing about a month and a half. And I didn't really know what I was doing before then. To be honest, I made a video and it was just terrible. So if you watch that first, my apologies. And then, of course, the amount of currency that it costs you to do it. This is your gain, meaning how much essence, animal essence you get. Because right now I have 194,000. And this is how much experience. So 4165 times 11.8. Is going to equal 49,000 EXP. That's going to be for each pet, right? So each pet, when your auto hunt completes and you collect, is going to get that experience. That's super important because at higher levels, if I pull up in my team again, you'll notice that it takes a ton right here. Like, look at this one. It takes 1.2 million to update it. So getting 100K each day is not... I need to increase the duration and still upgrade a bunch of stuff on there. But you can see how that all plays in. So like the fish will begin to level on here. So if I come down and I do the auto hunt, it's going to be, let's do this. Let's sacrifice all. That's going to sacrifice it into more essence, right? So it'll be 21,000 essence. I hate filming these. I'm going to move to a different room real quick. Let's go to a more private one. And then we do all bots on our server so that you can play everything Idle Miner, you can play Epic RPG, you can play Ultimate RPG, you can play OWO, Mude, anything in the all bots channels, right? So now I have 215,000 essence. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade. Let's do duration, and then we're going to do the whole amount, 215. Right, so it's going to upgrade it from 11.8 to 12.5 hours. That means that what you're eventually looking to do is just do it once a day, get it up to 24 hours. So like whatever time you start it, typically the next day, you just go collect it once. If you're trying to do every 8 hours, that you got to remind yourself what time to get on there. But like if you do it like me, first thing in the morning, bam, you do your auto hunt, you're good for the day, right? So I'm going to try to get this up to 24 hours, and that's my goal on there. But right now, I got to set it to auto hunt. And then remember, I can do 13,000 currency. It's going to give you a code to put back in. Oops, I did 16,000. I get so used to doing 16,000. I did two numbers. Noob. And then it makes it so that you can't really use a bot on this. It tries to disguise the letters a little bit so that people have to actually sit and type. I don't know a lot of people who cheat, but again, you can see, remember, we upgraded the duration, and so the duration actually goes to 52,000 experience. So GG. Tomorrow, it's like 8 o'clock p.m. in the morning, I'll be able to reset it to go back out. So that's how you're going to raise just the experience on the team. So what you're trying to do is level your animals up, right? The higher the levels, the better off you're going to be. So like the fish here, watch, I'll look up the dex on the fish. He's a really good magic attacker, right? A 19, but he's got a 0 HP, so he's not preferred like long-term. You want something that has a little bit more HP, but it's just such a high attack person. What you're doing is looking to just do damage to them, right? So now you'll notice that his weapon of choice right now is a vamp staff. You can also use the energy staff if you're using a magic attacker, and that's fine. If you use a physical attacker, then you're going to want to have this one higher, right? The physical attack. So be careful when you're setting your weapons to do that. This is the meta team for a streak builder currently. You can see even at my low levels, because I run into people who are level 40, level 50, and level 60 all the time, I've still managed to build a 500 streak. For these levels, that's okay, right? Really, this fish, I want to try to upgrade him with another one. The lizard is the main attacker right now. If you get a lizard, you're in good stats, and I'll show you why. Let's look at the dex on the lizard, but that's the meta attacker right now. Oh, I don't have him in my zoo, so I can't dex him. Womp womp. The healer, but as far as this, if you were going to go with a physical attacker, you could use the spider's a good one. There's a couple other ones as well. The healer, this one is in order. It goes shrimp, squid. Usually I'll have the squid before the shrimp because the shrimp is green and the squid is a legendary. So fabled would be a little bit hard. Not fabled, whatever the gem one is, but the green. But the Christmas healer came back, and it's a really, really strong one. Now, on a healer, you're going to want to use, what was the first one? Energy staff, I think, or something like that. A healing staff. If you don't have a vamp staff, but normally when you're taking a look at this, like they're usually better at certain levels based on the amount of power it uses. Not to get too technical, you can't go wrong with them, right? It's more dependent on the level and leveling up, and then getting the right stats on here for this attacker because it's a magic attacker. But I'm running currently a magic staff and I'm sorry, spirit staff, my bad. It's a spirit staff. And then what this is, and I'm going to show you more on the weapons, but this is the weapon name, and this is the passive on the weapon, and this is the overall stats, right? So we're going to talk about weapons a little bit further in the video in specific, because you're going to want to have specific weapons with specific passives for a reason. So you want something that's going to do magic gen, but you also want to tap power, meaning that your damage steals power away so that the other enemies using magic power weapons cannot use their magic power. It will actually help you beat stronger teams that have the wrong passives and the wrong stats on their stuff. That's what is going to allow you to build your streak up. Now, there's other teams that are off meta, like some people use double AoE, some people use 3 attackers, like just all kinds of crazy stuff. But people have streak makers teams and then streak breakers. But ideally, instead of playing the spoiler, you want to run those streaks up, because every 10 battles, every 50, every 100, you get like little bonuses if you string these streaks together, helping you level your character more. And that's going to be super important because, again, right, you're going to be able to hunt and battle pretty quick, right? So if I went back to hunt again, on there it would tell me that there's a timer, a 10-second timer on actually hunting. But see, now we're at a 99 streak on here, so I wanted to show you, hopefully, that we'll be able to get the next one, and you can see what a 100 streak looks like. Let's see if it's ready yet. It is, and then we'll battle. And then, yeah, we'll get a 100 streak on this. And you can see down here on the bottom, it'll take 7 turns. We're on turn 4. And look, at 100, you get a 3,000 streak bonus. And so that starts to add up. And especially the higher levels that you go, you want to build those streaks together. All right, so one last look at the team setup. I've got an attacker, I've got a healer, and then I've got a tank, right? The tank you want to use an Aegis on. And then also you want to be able to generate magic because you want your healer and your tank to be able to do their functions. So I want to show you the weapons screen. It's a lot of overwhelming, very easy, or very early. So but here's what it looks like. And I've opened up some crates just so I had some extra. So like here's the spirit staff that I'm using. And you can see how they're dedicated to these animals. You can read this up here to figure out how this works. I'll show you the reroll because that is a little bit different. I'm going to show you how to dismantle, to work your weapons up. But basically, I don't need any of the weapons that are up here. I didn't roll anything that's mythic or legendary, right? So I don't need any of these weapons. Even this energy, that's actually a good energy staff. It's got the wrong passive thorns on it because it's not helping out. But if you want to see more about that weapon, you can actually put this in and look 473097, and that will take and show you if I did it right. 473097. It'll give you a look at the actual stats on there. So it is got an 86%. It is mythic. It costs 156 to use this weapon each time, right? But it's going to heal your allies for 49.5% of your mag each time. So whatever animal you're using needs to have a high mag, which is that middle number on there, the O, right? This particular weapon also increases your defense and reduces it by 29.4 once it's defensed up on the buff. And then because of the energize, it's going to re-energize 37.4 weapon points after every turn. This is what gives you the ability to keep healing with it over and over and over, right? The only time that won't happen is when another player has a mana tap and hits you on there. And so what you're looking for is to extend your team. You're looking to do damage and extend your team. So in this case, you're reducing damage and then healing your team back up. It's great to go long amount of turns on there because it's going to benefit you. The other team will typically run out of this WP. And that's what's going to allow them to utilize those weapons. So you'll get the hang of it the more you play. You can actually find our channel on this YouTube. Go into my description, and then you can find our server information in there, right? So the other one now that we have up there, we'll take a look at the vamp staff here. So it's easier for me to copy them because I suck at typing, but the vamp staff is going to deal 42.4% of your mag to all enemies, and so you want to have a magic attacker. That's the middle. I mean, on the magic side, in the blue numbers, it's the middle one again is the magic, and then this one actually is going to mana tap whoever it hits for 29.4% of all damage dealt. Now remember, the fish had a 19 mag. That is extremely high. So it is going to hit some big damage, and it is going to steal mana from them away. Well, why is that important? And I'm going to show you because, like right here on the Defender's Aegis again. Now again, right, the passive on this one is Magic Gen, but here's the reason why. Like your tank is going to taunt, right? And so even though the skull is who I'm using right now, you can actually put this on a snail, one of the common animals, and that is a really good tank for starting players. So it'll get you used to using that tank roll and leveling them up and getting levels, right? And then as you hunt more and as you auto hunt more, you'll tap into these green and blue mons, and then you'll start jockeying them around and getting another one, but it starts at level 1. So when you add them to your team, you got to start over from the very beginning. Typically that produces some low streaks, but you just got to do the time right on there. So it adds a taunt buff to your animals and returns. All right, so what we wanted to do was show you how to accumulate a weapon shard. I don't know if it's going to let me do it because I just typed weapons. Yeah, I have 157 shards right now. Here's how you get more shards. You dismantle, and then let's say, for instance, it'll do all your uncommon weapons. Now, word of the wise, this will dismantle every weapon not equipped that's uncommon. So if you have some mythic weapons that you're not using, you need to assign those to an animal. Any animal will do. Just put it on an animal to save them in case you wanted to save them, right? So we're going to dismantle all of them real quick because I wanted to see if I can build up a couple of shards and show you a reroll. Okay, dismantle, epic, boom. And then I believe, RPG. You can tell I really want to play that game. So I got 255 shards. So what I'm going to do now is, if I look at my weapons, I want to like re-roll the, let's say the Spirit Staff. You do OWO weapon re-roll. You're going to take the Spirit Staff ID here, the 473097, and what we want to do is we want to roll the stats. These are the passives you want on them. So if you don't have those passives on there, or you can't buy them from the shop, I'm going to show you that after this, you can actually re-roll this, right? It's going to pull you into a re-roll menu, and the re-roll came up as a 63%, costing 181, not really the best on there. So I'm going to reroll it again, and it came up to a 73. The weapon cost lowered to 143, but see how this damage is lower, the replenishment's lower, and that's all. If you click it again, if you don't have it, it will tell you don't have enough weapon shards. You can exit out of there, and then you'll see that I still have the same 86% staff. Get familiar with that. Reroll the passives, reroll the stats, up those weapons, right? The other way to buy them is to go into the shop. And then the first thing that'll come up is rings. That's so that you can marry another player. But here's what's for sale today. And look, there is a mythical energy staff for sale. It's 750 weapon shards. And so if you don't have the weapons that you need, you can go into here and buy them cheap and then re-roll them up for the stats. I, for some reason, didn't get that in the beginning. Like, it's kind of weird. And then, of course, if you have any crates to open, crate all, I don't think I had any. Yeah, I opened them all up for this this particular video, but that's pretty much the battles and everything. I'm gonna go over the meta team, some of the off meta teams in a different video. I don't want this one to get too long, but that will get you started into OWO and make it actually fun to play. Now when you're lower ranked, you're not going to get that big of streaks. So getting a 10 streak, getting a 20 streak, getting a 50 or even 100 is exciting, you know, to be able to go. But what'll happen is as your team levels up and levels up, once you hit about level 10 on them, by having the right weapons on your guys and by having the right passives and the right stats, you're going to be able to beat higher level teams. Those also produce a bonus for you. So I don't think I was able to get one. It's harder to find a higher ranked team because a lot of them are between 10 and like 30 right now. So it's really hard just to kind of randomly get one. But just keep going, keep playing. And so what I like to do is get in these channels and play multiple games, right? So I hate to wait on them. So like I got cooldowns on Epic. I'll just run through them real quick and run through all my Epic commands. And then once those are reset, then I'll play Idle Miner and I'll update my Idle Miner. And then I'll come back through and do my OWO again. And then I'll play Taco Stand. And that's the advantage of having this. Again, if you want an invite to the server, come on to the channel description for YouTube, and it'll be on there. And I'm probably going to add it in the beginning of the video too. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope that it helps. Good luck, and I'll see you on the server.